I'm Katie Blackwell. I'm a first sergeant in the Minnesota Army National Guard. I've been in 19 years now. I'm currently a military police officer, but oversee a chemical company, and I'm an acting command sergeant major for the engineer battalion. And then I've been in trainings at Germany and did a deployment to Bosnia, and then a 23-month tour to Iraq. In every way. I was 17 when I joined the military, so I think the military taught me confidence and leadership, and obviously I went to the military police corps, so it taught me a lot about being a police officer, and that's something I really enjoyed doing in the military, and I thought, hey, I could make a career of this, and they just kind of went hand in hand over the years, the specialty skills and mostly discipline. One day when I didn't skip lunch at school, I walked by this recruiter's booth, and it said Minnesota Army National Guard, and I had no idea what it was about. But I had 3 brothers that were in the Army, so I just asked them, hey, can I travel if I join this Army thing? And they said, yeah, and I said, okay, I'll sign up. So I did. So the first day I went down there, we ended up getting into Alabama really late, and I just turned 18. So I got down there and I thought, what the heck did I do joining in the Army? I thought I made a big mistake. It was a very scary feeling, even though I've traveled a lot, but I was 18 and it was my first big trip alone. But over time I fell in love with boot camp. It was scary and intimidating at first. Everybody was screaming at you all the time, and you couldn't talk, and they would yell at you, and you'd have to drink a lot of water. But I really fell in love with it because, I come from inner city and didn't have a lot, so there it was a free meal. You get 3 free meals a day, and you get a place to stay and leadership that cared about you, even though it didn't seem like it sometimes. But it was by the end I didn't want to leave. I actually stayed after boot camp graduation for 2 more days down there because I didn't want to leave. So it was a good experience for me. Yeah, I laugh looking back at some of the letters and some of the poems I wrote, like the sky was falling, like the world was over because it was so rough. So it's kind of funny reading back at some of the letters. But once a week we got to call home for, you got a 5-minute phone call. So, and we'd alternate. So once a week we'd call home. But you'd stand in really long lines because we had pay phones back then. So most of the times I just would skip it because you're cutting into your personal time, which you didn't have much of. So we'd shine our boots and iron our uniforms. And if you could, sneak a cat nap in the bathroom. They didn't have doors on them, but you'd try to sneak a quick cat nap because you were up a lot of long hours of the day. And it was go, go, go. So you didn't have much personal time. And somebody was always around you. Oh, candy, hamburgers, you name it, pop.
Food, I'm guessing.
Food, yes. Because you were hungry all the time because you worked a lot. Because you get up at 4:30 in the morning and you're doing a lot of physical exercise, and then it was go, go, go. And you only had a minute to eat. You literally had to shovel it in your mouth as fast as you could. You were in and out of that chow hall. So you'd shovel in your food as fast as you could, then you'd hit the range, and you're doing a lot of road marching and a lot of training. So food, I missed food, M&Ms. And I'm not even a big candy fiend, but candy was... Yes, and it was so bad because in the military you have to meet a certain height weight requirement, and I was always over by like 0.02% body fat, so we weren't allowed to eat any fattening foods at all. So my mom once had sent me a box of cookies, which ordinarily would have been awesome, but you had to eat it. They made me eat it in front of the whole company as fast as I could, and it totally sucked. And then they smoked me, where they make you do a lot more physical fitness exercises in front of the whole company. So I was trying to throw the cookies to everybody because everybody wanted one, but then I got smoked even more. They called it caping, corrective action through physical exercising. But every once in a while someone would sneak, like there was a vending machine for the drill sergeants. They would sneak like a pop or something, they'd sell it for $20 or a thing of Twinkies. So if you're sneaky enough to get in there and get out, you could sell it for about 20 bucks. Your leadership skills and taking care of people, because over there you're always taking care of your soldiers. So I would say that you're always, as a leader, you always are concerned about that. The biggest thing is to not take life for granted, and it's the small stuff. So over there you see how hard people work, and they're in a war-riddled country, and even the kids from ages 2 on up to elderly people in their 80s are working really hard. Whether it was in Bosnia or Iraq, they were up every morning farming, and they worked as a family. So when you come home and sometimes when you see teenagers upset because they don't have a cell phone or other things like that, it kind of makes you think, twice about it. That you're just more grateful for the things that you have, to include running water. So I was assigned in the beginning as a scout vehicle for convoys. We ran convoys, so we would bring our convoys from point A to point B, and they were full, whether it was fuel or Christmas decorations or cookies and Gatorade. We would bring them to all the bases, and a lot of times it would take anywhere from 15 hours to 36-hour missions. And my job was to make sure that our convoy didn't get lost, which we ran 168 combat missions, and I'll be the first to be happy to tell you I'm a female that did not get lost on a 168 combat mission. We would bring food and supplies to the bases, and then when we get there, we would drop them off and let them fuel up, try to get 4 to 6 hours of sleep, and then we would come back to our base. So they were long, long days, and about halfway through, I got promoted and became a convoy commander. So I was in charge of that convoy of 40 to 60 vehicles, and still stayed a scout vehicle. We called it Easter egg hunting. We would look for bombs and not get blown up. Well, it was like Easter egg hunting. So when we were looking for bombs, because it was a big threat to our convoys, I literally would sit like this in the front of my vehicle. I was in the team leader spot, and I had a driver and a gunner. So we would literally scan the roadways, just left and right, for 15 to 36 hours straight. And if we'd see one, it was usually something like this. Uh-oh. So we would stop our convoy before they came up to that bomb. Sometimes it would go off, and sometimes we'd stop the convoy. Hopefully we didn't trip it, sometimes we did. But we would hopefully stop our convoy that was a ways back before they hit the bomb. So, and then we would keep eyes on it. It was actually a good, bad experience. We were in Baghdad, and we were rolling down the road, and there was a small sandbag we saw at the last minute, and we clipped it, and it blew up, and it was kind of a smaller explosion than what we've seen before. So we kind of said, and I said something stupid. I said, since our vehicle wasn't damaged, I said, all right, well, now let's hit the big one for a Purple Heart. And I was joking around, which I should have never did. When I reached over, we always carried a wood block in our truck for good luck. If you said something stupid, we were all very superstitious. So if you said something stupid in the truck, you had to knock on the wood. So after I said that, I turned around and knocked on the wood. Well, I didn't even get one knock on it, and I looked, and I saw the bigger, it was a pressure plate bomb. And it was right next to a pothole, so my driver, who happened to be left-handed, swerved around the potholes, because we always swerve around potholes, because they'd always place bombs in the potholes. Swerved left around it, and I saw it at the last second as I was trying to knock on my wood, and we hit it, and it was like a big explosion, just a big fireball. And time stopped as you knew it, and it felt like forever. It was like, you ever seen the movie Saving Private Ryan? Well, there's a thing called shell shocked, and where just everything's in slow motion. It's like a slow motion film, if you will. So I couldn't hear anything, but I looked over at my driver, and he was talking, but I couldn't hear anything he said. And I looked at my gunner, because I was feeling him to see if he was okay. And he was yelling at me too, but I couldn't hear anything he said. And I looked at the front of our truck, and it was completely on fire. And all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, it was like this, everything, boom, like the noise came back, I could hear it. And then it was just chaos. Like everybody was yelling, and the radio was going off. And then I felt my leg felt like it got kicked by a horse. And I put my hand down, and I started running my hand on my leg, thinking, I'll see what kind of injury I had. But I stopped because I thought, I can't handle if my leg is blown off right now. So I stopped and I was like, okay. Well, my driver got out to put out the fire. He had a fire extinguisher, put the fire out. And I yelled, my leg was hurt. So he ran over to my driver's door, and I handed him my flashlight to look at my leg because I was terrified to look at it. I didn't think I had a leg anymore. I could not. It hurt so bad. And he took my flashlight, and I watched his eyes because I trusted my driver. And I watched his eyes to see if he was going to have a reaction of this is bad. But I was watching his face, and he kind of went, "Sarge, it's not that bad. I don't see any blood." And we pulled up my pant leg, and I remember just feeling my leg going, "Oh my God, I'm glad my leg's still there." And my mom would be so mad. and so I rolled up my pant leg, and I had I was bleeding a little bit, but basically just banged up my leg pretty good in the vehicle. And it happened to be Memorial Day. And since our truck was blown up, we had to sit there for 4 hours. And they came and brought recovery trucks to bring us into the Baghdad International Airport Hospital, where we all got checked out. So they quick do a couple Band-Aids on my knee and sent us packing. And we were going to come back, but we didn't have a vehicle. So we had to stay overnight, and we were really happy about that because Toby Keith was playing the next day. So they threw me some crutches, and my whole squad was happy because we got to see Toby Keith live, and then got to meet him. So I guess it was semi worth it, but it wasn't until I came home later on that I realized that my brain had gotten rattled a little bit, and I had a mild traumatic brain injury. So I had to go through about a year of speech therapy and muscle memory drills, and just physical therapy. So, yeah. Now I feel smarter than I ever had before. Yeah, I got a hurt knee and a brain injury. I got a Purple Heart for my injuries, and then I got a Bronze Star medal for it. But the Bronze Star was kind of that, and then it was for our 160 combat missions that we endured found a lot of bombs, and then we got in a lot of gunfights and stuff. So they gave us Bronze Stars for protecting basically our convoy. One of the best care packages I've ever received when I was in Iraq was a plate of grass. One of my cop friends grew a plate of grass, like regular yard grass. And which is funny, in a desert for that long, you miss the smell of grass. It's probably one of the greatest things I missed. But so it became our platoon pet, this plate of grass. And you had to water it every day, and so when we'd leave on missions, it was like our baby. We'd hand off the baby and say, "Make sure you take care of this baby." And I think we kept it going for almost the whole deployment, and somebody forgot to take it out of the 140-degree weather outside, and it died. And we tried to revive it, but we had a funeral for it. So it was kind of like Wilson from the movie Castaway. But it was a really sad moment, actually. Everybody was very sad about the plate of grass dying, because it was the only green we got to see. When people would have a bad day, they'd come over and smell it, and they'd just rub it. They just wanted to smell the grass. It reminded them of home.